Hi, this is Missy, co-designer for Seasalt Papery, and today I'm going to show you the new Davy Jones collection. It's an overlay collection to give you that ethereal water experience. This image here was one of the very first ones I'd done, and I had a lot of people contact me asking me how I did it. No, I do not own underwater housings for my equipment. It just becomes too expensive for me to justify buying it for something that I'm only going to use very little. So I created this in Photoshop, and due to the high number of comments and messages I received, I decided to put together a little collection for you guys so you too can achieve these images on your own. This is going to be a full edit to show you how I achieved this image from start to finish. And this one here is the beginning image straight out of camera as shot with my model. As you can see, it's on the beach, it's blown out sky, but I've metered for my model and I've gotten down low because I knew that this was going to be the image that I was going to edit this particular way and that I was going to do this particular finish with. But the way that these overlays are designed is your creativity is your limit. We want you to experiment, and I look forward to seeing how you guys use these to create beautiful images on your own. They are very simple to use. For those who aren't familiar with how overlays work, they're pretty much designed for a drag and drop. So you open up the Davy Jones collection and these are the overlays that you are going to receive. We tried not to include too many skies. At Seasalt Papery, we know that other vendors offer a plethora of skies for you guys, so we haven't included very many, but we have included ones that will complement this collection and will complement our other collections, especially if you have the new Seasalt Summers collection. This will work amazingly well. It comes hand in hand with it. So as you can see, these are the overlays that you guys are going to receive. I love every single one of these. These will work for your bright ethereal images, but we have included some that are going to work for your darker style of editing, which we all know that I love to do. I'm a bit of a yin and yang editor. I either go with really bright and airy feeling or really dark and emotional images, but that's my personal style. So I've tried to create ones that will work for pretty much anyone, and I have my favorites with all collections that we have released. I have my favorite actions, I have my favorite overlays that we use. In the particular finished image that you guys see here, I have used one of the skies out of this, but the dominant sky that you do see is from our Genesis collections. It's in the overlays there. So if you own that collection, you too can use that sky as well if you wish. But as I said, we don't include many sky options because A, there's a plethora of people that will do it, and B, you can achieve your own sky overlays. It's really easy to do. Just grab your camera, go outside at a great time of day and shoot away. So let's get straight into it. Okay, so these are my overlays. First I'm going to make sure that I'm on my image that we're going to edit. For this particular image I use Overlay Hull, which is one of my favorite ones. So we're just going to, as I said before, drag and drop onto our image and adjust where it's going to sit on there to somewhere where I'm happy with. And there, looks good. And enter. And I'm just going to hide that now and go back to our background layer. And I also used buoy, which same again, drag and drop and change where that sits. Just where that sits there. That looks good. Okay, I do need to go through because this is no longer a smart object because we have dragged and dropped. If you do open it up in Photoshop and then paste on that way, you won't have this issue, but it's easily fixed. It's just a matter of go over to Layout, Smart Objects, Rasterize, and that will take that away, and now you can actually edit that a bit more if you wish, change the opacity, the blend mode, etc. And I'm actually going to keep that on normal and just change the opacity to somewhere I'm happy, which there looks good. But as you can see, some of the sky is still showing through here, which I don't want. So what I'm going to do is duplicate my background layer, and I'm going to mask out this sky. So I'm going to select a tone around about there, and just come through with my soft brush, 100% opacity at a larger size. Don't worry if you do get this on the bottom, because it's all going to blend out and make the overlays blend a lot better. We don't really need it anyway, because we're adding the water in, so we don't need that horizon. And just go around your model. We're just trying to get rid of that dominance of those clouds coming through because we don't need them. We're going for an ethereal edit with the skies that we have, so we don't need what's showing through there. That out. And to me that looks good. So turn that back on, and as you can see now we're not getting those clouds through there, and I can just mask off my model with a black soft brush at 100%. I tend to stay from the very edges because I'm going to come through with 50% brush and make it blend a little bit more seamlessly. About 50%, and go closer to those edges. And I am trying to slow down my editing process because I was told by my husband that my first video for this I edited it way too quick, and you guys would not have been able to really learn from what I'm doing. So I'm just coming back through with a white brush, and I'm just adding into those little bits at 50% where I've just gone that little bit too far. Again, like I said before, you want it to blend seamlessly. Just making sure that we're doing that. We want it to look like it was always there and never added. Okay, so I'm going to select that layer again, and now I want to blur that a little bit more because I just want those dreamy little tones. I don't necessarily need the clouds to actually show through, simply because we're going to use the next sky. So we're just going to go filter and then field blur. And because I'm recording, this is going to go a little bit slower. And we're just going to adjust how blurry that's going to be. That looks good. Okay, and as I said before at the start that I did use a sky from the Genesis collection, so I'm just going to go right ahead and do the same again, drag and drop. I already had that open down below, so made it go quicker for you guys and you didn't have to see me go chasing it in my plethora of actions and overlays and etc. And again, just where it looks good, enter. Now we're going to change this to a multiply mode and adjust the opacity. And as you can see, it's on our model again, so same again, black brush, 100%, mask off. and 50%. Might just bump that opacity of the overall layer down a little bit more. That looks good. And you can turn your water layer back on. And so far we're getting there. Now we're going to actually do a new layer on top of our water layer. And I'm going to select one of these tones closer to the water. And there is a method to my madness, I promise. Again, we want it to blend seamlessly, so with a soft brush, just run along the water. Doesn't have to be perfect. And we're just going to change the opacity of that at a normal to around about 51%. There, looks good. And now I'm going to go through on a new layer again. And I'm going to select another one of these tones and do the same. And it's just play with your blend modes. I'm going for a screen with this one because I just want it to lighten up a little bit. And there, looks good. Okay, now's the next step where I add in the birds. Again, this is one of my overlays that I've made for myself because I tend to use a lot of seagulls. So, same again, drag and drop. It's not a very neat overlay. But we want them to look like they were actually shot. As it is now, they don't blend in there, so what we're going to do is, same again, filter, blur, field blur, and blur them out so they were in the background, and then multiply. And as you can see, they blend in a bit more, but they're still slightly too large for my liking. Okay, the next is we're going to make her glow. So it looks like she has that backlighting coming from her, which is in the sky, and glowing her out. So for that one, it's just a gradient. And I'm going to go through and change my color palette to around about there in a yellow. Okay, and our lighter color is going to be white. Okay, and we want it as a radial. And the size change. And the blend mode, keeping it at normal. You can experiment, it's going to do different things at that blend mode if you put it into lighten. As you can see, it's just a nice little soft glow, which I do like, so we might keep that one. And same again, brush off your model. This one I'm going to set at 50% and mask off her at that, because we do want her glowing and lighten up those skin tones just that little bit, really creamy tones through there. Okay, the next step is I'm just going to turn all these layers off now, apart from our background copy, and I'm going to work on that one. I'm going to go to the Chroma Luxe set, and I'm going to actually go the Skin Hydrating Veil. This is just going to lighten up her skin tone and make it a little bit more creamy, and make sure I'm on a white brush. And it's going to make those whites that she's wearing really pop as well. Which is always an added bonus. Okay. If we turn all those back on, see she's glowing. Okay, and the next I'm going to go into the Genesis collection and use Dramatic, which is my all-time favorite action. I use this 99.99% of time on my images. So it's just play. And some might like that look. I'm just going to soften that a little bit. Right about there. I am going to change the opacity of day layer. Just make that a little bit softer. There, looks good. And next I'm going to go into the Wanderlust collection, and I'm going to run the organic matte, just because I like that matted finish that it gives. And again, mask off our model, but I'm going to do it at 50%. You should always mask off a little bit of the matte, just so your tones on the skin don't become too muted. That might be a personal preference of mine, but that's how I believe it should look for me. I'm just going to go back through, and on my gradient later, I'm going to mask off a little bit more and help elbow there. Okay, so turn all these off again, and I'm just going to fix up here on her where we've got her underwear showing through. No one wants their underwear, so I'm just going to clone mask that out. So it's just a matter of selecting where you're going to clone from. If you're on a Mac, it's Option. Okay, and turn all of them back on. There you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial and that you guys have learnt something on how to use overlays in the future. And I seriously hope you guys love the Davy Jones collection as much as we do here at Seasalt Papery. Thank you, and we look forward to seeing what you guys create with this.